Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Cut Line, presented by the Hoosier Network. Graham Nash and Andrew Hillsman with you yet again, but this time on video.
We've got cameras now.
We've got cameras.
Okay, we had them, and we just didn't go to the effort of using them, but now we have them, and yeah, now you get to see who's making dumb takes about golf. That's me. He makes the smart takes. I say dumb stuff. And we have fun. And we missed a week last week because it was IU's spring break.
We did.
It's probably the worst week of the year to miss.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because there was so much that happened last week. This chair's still to it. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. We got the players. We got, let's see, what was I can't even remember.
The Valspar.
Valspar. So much happened.
And LIV, TGL.
TGL just wrapped up last night.
Oh my gosh. Literally the worst week we could have chosen.
I think so, but we're ready to get after it and recap it. Let's do it.
That's right. Let's do it. So we'll start with the players. And by the way, just want to say this will be the first episode also posted on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're new here, make sure you go to Spotify and catch up on the episodes that were missed. We're going to start on the PGA Tour, as we always do. The Players' Championship was played the first tournament of the two that we have to catch up on.
Yes.
Rory McIlroy won his second PGA Tour event of the season and his second Players' Championship. And Andrew, I called my shot, sir.
The first one, oh man, it had to happen at some point. The first correct prediction at our end of episode tournament predictions goes to Mr. Graham Nash. So props to you. That was I went the unconventional route. I should have picked a favorite because, I mean, big name tournament, big name player is probably going to win it, and that's what Rory did. And he played real well all weekend.
He did. He played very, very well, but 72 holes were not enough to decide a winner.
Right.
Rory McIlroy and J.J. Spaun were tied at 12 under after the 72nd hole on Sunday, and they played a 3-hole aggregate the next morning because it was just a little too dark to play that night. It was the 5th time ever that a playoff was needed at the Players, and only the 2nd time that the 3-hole aggregate format was used. This format added in 2014. The first time was 2015 when Ricky Fowler and your favorite, Kevin Kisner, was used. Kiz, quite the character.
Everybody loves Kiz.
Everyone loves Kiz.
The TGL Joker, as I like to say.
But we'll start things off, actually, with how Rory spent his night the night before the playoff. He said this in his press conference. Take a listen.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed last night, but I also was mindful that I couldn't feel that way, that I needed to reset. So once I got back to the hotel, I just tried to sort of forget about it and had some room service, watched a little bit of Devil Wears Prada, and went to bed. And that was basically it. So and then when I woke up this morning, I woke up at 3 this morning and couldn't get back to sleep. So like I was, I was as nervous as I can remember.
Florals for spring, groundbreaking.
Is this a Devil?
I feel like
is this a Devil Wears Prada thing that I don't?
It's a quote from the movie.
Quote from the movie. Okay, I've never seen the movie.
I just want to say I haven't either. Okay. Actually, but I did see that
some research.
On socials.
There you go.
And
okay,
I saw
there you go.
But how about that? Watching some Devil Wears Prada.
Honestly, I mean, I don't know. Like in that situation, neither of us have been in that situation really in any athletic. I mean, especially not me. But like, I don't know if that's what I would have chosen. But hey, I guess it worked for him. Maybe he needs to do that in 2 weeks when we go to Augusta. I don't know. Maybe there was a report. I think it was. I want to say earlier today or earlier this week that he went out and did some scouting and he walked the course at Augusta.
Oh,
like recently to get figured out and see if he can finally get that last major. Man, I think he's the favorite to do it. I think that's what people want. But yeah, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, that elusive 4th major, the Masters. Well, here is how the 3-hole aggregate went. Rory birdied 16. They were playing 16, 17, and 18. Maybe the 3 most famous holes in golf.
I think the best ending stretch to a golf course, at least in tour golf that there is.
I agree. So Rory birdied 16. J.J. Spaun parred it. Then they get to 17, and this was the moment.
Yeah.
Rory went first, picked 9-iron, hit it right on the green, a beautiful shot. J.J. Spaun hit his 8-iron long in the water. Rory bogeyed, but JJ Spawn triple bogeyed on 18. And that, I have to say, was the hardest golf shot that anyone hit.
You think so?
The entire weekend. Because Rory talked about this actually, and we might get to it in his next bite. The wind direction was totally different than the previous 4 days. They woke up and it flipped. It was all of a sudden straight into their face. And it's about a 142-yard shot, which is traditionally a wedge.
Right.
And a wedge shot into a headwind is the hardest shot that one can hit in golf.
Because it just, so much backspin, it just carries.
Exactly.
And shoots up and then it loses distance.
Right.
I think is
yes.
Yeah.
It loses distance and it picks up spin.
Right.
Which on an island green.
Not what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just going to shoot back.
It'll rip right off. So the most controversial moment was that Rory hit his 9-iron. JJ took a little peek into his bag, saw that he was hitting 9, decided to go with the 8 because Rory hits it so far.
Right.
And JJ was like, okay, this is my shot. I got it. And he hits it long. Take a listen to what JJ had to say in the post-game presser or post-tournament presser about that shot.
I hit the exact shot that I wanted to. I had no idea that ball was even long. I thought if anything it was short, maybe plugged in the bunker or stuck on top of the hill. And Rory hit 9. Can I just watch it? I haven't seen it. I mean, look how high it is. It's floating. I almost wanted to say get up because it just looked like it was going to be short. But anyways, I was stunned. I couldn't believe it was long.
So I read something where Rory maybe hit a longer club than he actually needed to.
I heard as well.
To maybe play with Spawn in that playoff, that mind game sort of thing, which is like, I mean, I don't know if I've heard of an example of somebody doing that before. Maybe it's just not been documented with all the camera angles that they have now on these, especially in a time where only 2 guys are playing. That's a brilliant play if that's true from Rory.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shot that he has in his bag.
Of course.
Right, either way. But maybe it was just like, hey, if I do this, because he's going to look in his bag.
He has to.
JJ, he did the right thing. Anyone would have done that in that scenario. Like, what is this dude hitting? Because this is the hardest shot that I've hit all weekend. And Rory, just master of mind games in that scenario.
He might as well be, honestly. I mean, that was, like I said, I don't know if I've seen that happen before, but I think that also is just kind of a credit to how good Rory actually is. If he can hit, I mean, a lot of guys on tour can do this, but, the best of the best that's why they're the best. They can hit pretty much any shot, any shape with any club. They don't have to have, like say, if I want to hit one 150 yards, I'm going to pull a 9-iron. I can't do that with a pitching wedge. I can't do that with an 8. I can. Maybe if I chunk an 8-iron, I can do that. But I can't do it accurately, and I can't take spin off the ball. That's why these guys are so good. It's just impressive.
Yeah. Well, Rory, he then went on to bogey 18. Spawn picked up because he was on track for a double bogey on 18. And so Rory won the Players. It's his first he won his first Players on March 17th in 2019. He won his second on March 17th in 2025, separated by exactly 6 years. It's his 28th PGA Tour victory, 43 worldwide wins. This is easily his biggest since the 2019 Players as well. And he's in some good form heading into Augusta, like you mentioned, Hillsman.
Right, and I think it's so tough to say how guys are going to do at that course because it gets changed a little bit year to year. I'm not sure at what changes they've made, if any, this year, but obviously it's going to play different every year. And I think this was probably a conversation that people had 6 years ago. Okay, he won the Players. And at that point, 6 years ago, the Masters was still the only championship or major championship that he hasn't won. That holds true to today. So I don't know if it's the same conversation as people were having 6 years ago where he's in good form. Is he the favorite to win the Masters? It's so impossible to tell until Thursday.
Yeah, you never know.
Nope.
You never know that tournament. A couple other fun nuggets about Rory's win. He won it on St. Patrick's Day, the look of the Irish. It's his third win on St. Patty's Day. So clearly,
I mean,
it works.
It's got to be something there, right? I mean, maybe not as the effect of like maybe a Shane Lowry one, for example, but I'm sure he's heard every Irish joke in the book.
Oh, I believe in the luck of the Irish. That is if you can't tell, I've been working on my Irish accent.
I think you have.
The only players to win multiple Players' Championships and multiple majors are these four golfers. Scottie Scheffler, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and now Rory McIlroy. I don't know if you can name
pretty good.
More elite four than that.
No, that's a pretty good group of golfers.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say about that.
Yeah. And Rory, he's feeling quite confident about his game at this point. We've played a lot of sound. We've played a lot of bites for you all, but this is another very good one because there are so many questions. Going into Augusta, take a listen to what Rory said about his golf game.
I feel like I'm a way more complete player than I was a few years ago. Even in conditions like this, that little 9-iron into 17, the little 8-iron into the last there. I said to Harry there, that little shot will take us a long way. So I feel like I can play in all conditions and anything that comes my way, and really happy that was able to get it done today.
But can he play in Augusta conditions?
Who knows? Especially if it's raining, which honestly, I forget whether if it rains, do people score? Because it kind of softens everything up.
Yeah,
but the greens are going to be so difficult regardless.
Right. Well, the famous story of Tiger Woods putting on a gym floor before his first Masters. Dude,
I haven't heard of this.
You haven't heard this story?
No, I haven't heard this story.
Tiger Woods, I think it was before his first Masters. He went to his high school gym, or maybe it was his Stanford gym. Went to the Stanford gym, put some balls down, and hit some putts on the Stanford gym floor because his thought process was, if I can get a ball to stop on a hardwood gym floor, then the Masters is going to feel slow.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know what happened with his record at Augusta.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
probably had some good effect.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it was smart.
I've never hit a ball on a hardwood floor, and I don't think it would go very well for me.
It's hard.
Have you tried it?
I've tried it on similar to hardwood, not
sure.
exactly hardwood. But our last little nugget about Rory, over his last 25 worldwide starts, he's won 5 times, has come in second twice, with 22 top 25s and 1 missed cut. That is one of the best. If Scottie Scheffler didn't have the 2024 he had, Rory would have had the best year by far of anyone last season.
I don't think there's any argument about that. But Scottie Scheffler was Scottie Scheffler in 2024. We're kind of seeing the same thing, not at the winning level, but just consistent high placements in all of these events that he's played thus far. It bodes so well. It really does.
Yeah. Well, we've spent about 13 minutes
we got a lot more to talk to.
And we've got so much more. So we're going to move on to the Valspar. Viktor Hovland, another big name in the game of golf, won for the first time in 2025 at the Valspar. It's his 7th career victory. He had a very interesting start to the season. Missed his last 3 cuts before the Valspar, but he said going into the week that course fits his game. And Andrew, that it did.
It sure did. And he played well. He was in control. Like you said, he missed those 3 cuts earlier in the year. And I thought this was going to be a down year for him. This is setting him right back on the right track.
Yeah. It can change in a week.
Yep.
Anything can change in the week. It was a dream ending for the Valspar, and one that probably Hollywood couldn't have scripted at this golf tournament. JT, Justin Thomas, and Viktor Hovland were going back and forth in that final round. JT led by 3 on the 14th hole, but Hovland went on a heater, and he beat Justin Thomas by 1. JT, he was tied for 53rd heading into moving day, though, and shot 6 under to move to T5. So maybe he's back in form too.
He very well could be. And with his success in TGL, which we'll get to in a minute, Justin Thomas is going to be one of those favorites. I mean, people, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, people are going to gravitate towards big names in big tournaments.
Yeah.
JT, Rory, Viktor Hovland is kind of there. I think we're going to see a lot of people back Oberg at this year's Masters. And we'll talk about that in a couple of weeks when it comes time for our Masters preview special. But that'll be fun. But, it is truly anyone who can just show up and play. And Hovland, like he said, if you think about what that does to your confidence, if you get a read on a course and you're like, okay, this is fitting how I'm playing right now, is my assumption how that went. That's got to help your confidence.
Yeah, totally. I mean, We can't know.
No, we can't, but it would make sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. The next tournament this weekend, the Texas Children's Houston Open from March 27 to 30. So as we're filming, starts tomorrow. This episode coming out a little later than others. Usually comes out Tuesday, but Andrew, you were in South Carolina.
It was, yes.
So we had to push things back, which you were covering IU women's basketball
Not playing
at the
golf,
tournament.
no, but
not playing golf.
I was doing something as cool. So it was a good time out there. Yeah,
I bet. So not a big tournament, but still some big names. Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Wyndham Clark.
I would like to see Scheffler get in the win column before the Masters. I think he has a good shot to do it at one of these two tournaments. I mean, playing in Texas, that
home state,
that's got to be helpful for him for both of these. So they're kind of playing two back to back. I got to imagine Scheffler's going to be in good form in both of these.
Yeah, after the Houston Open, it's the Valero Texas Open, back-to-back Texas tournaments, and then Georgia.
Okay, there we go.
Georgia.
Yes, there it is. It had to come out at some point. I mean, that's the one that every golf fan has circled on the calendar.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Yep. Well, something that a lot of golf fans might have had circled on their calendar.
They should have, because it was exciting.
The TGL final. It was a best of 3, but it only took 2 matches. It was between the Atlanta Drive, highlighted by one Justin Thomas, and New York Golf Club, highlighted by Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele. It was close as close could be.
Yeah. First match, I think. Let's see. I think the first match, last one was 4-3. The other one was 6-5 in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I want to say. So 1-point matches. You and I had a couple of discussions towards the start of the TGL season. We're like, are any of these matches going to be competitive? We have seen so many more towards the late stages of the season and in the playoffs. And for the finals to culminate in that sort of exciting matchup is so perfect for the send-off of an inaugural year for the league. I don't think there's any way you can say TGL has been a negative for the game of golf in this year at all.
Yeah, no, it's been a total success. I would agree. And both of those final matches came down to the singles format. It wasn't like it was done immediately. Kind of like you said, it came down to some very strategic hammers in the first match. Atlanta was down, I think, 4-3 or 3-2. They threw a hammer, and New York accepted. Billy Horschel, who is now like a new American hero,
GOAT,
made the putt, and they went on to win. Cut to match 2, and I think it was 4-3 maybe in favor of New York. They throw a hammer again, Atlanta. Billy Horschel steps up to hit a putt, and he drills one of the most ridiculous 30-footers I've ever seen and went nuts.
Yeah, everybody just went crazy. It was loud in there, and the team was they were mobbing each other, jumping up and down on the green, which usually you can't do in team golf because it's real grass, but who cares? It's artificial. And with the amount of missed putts from distance that we saw this year in TGL, guys were really struggling on this artificial surface. Horschel just steps up. He's like, nope, screw that. I'm just going to make 2 clutch putts and win this whole thing.
It was so good.
And they got some cash for it, too.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was a $9 million prize.
It's insane.
It's a lot of money.
I saw that Lucas Glover, who was the 4th member of that team, didn't play, played in 1 match, and get something like $2.25 million.
Hey, good for him.
Yeah, right?
I'll take it.
That's pretty good for 1 match of work.
Yeah.
It was so funny, too. Just last thing, Billy Horschel, he said he made the putt, he blacked out, and he was like, I think I said something about this being my house.
And he did.
He did. It was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
So, love that for him. Shout out to New York, though. This is something you wrote down.
I thought they were kind of just not where they needed to be at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Granted, it was everybody figuring out the format. They were figuring out the rotations, and you remember Schauffele was hurt for a little while.
Right.
So they found their stride. They made the playoffs. I want to say they were the last team in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was.
I think is right.
I think they were the 4 seed, and I think Atlanta was the 2 seed.
Yes, Atlanta was a 2 seed. So New York, who started off 0-2, went out and competed in the championship. And I mean, I would imagine we see probably 2 more teams get added for next year.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know what locations they'll go. I got to imagine Chicago might be one.
Yeah.
And then
Texas.
Yeah, it's got to be Dallas or Houston.
Dallas,
right?
and let me give you something.
Uh-huh.
They put Jordan Spieth and Scottie Scheffler on the same team. 2 locals. Yeah.
Oh man, sign me up.
I can see it coming from a mile
Sign
away,
me up.
dude.
I mean, it's too easy. Like,
I know. It's so free.
I don't know how those sorts of guys can turn down that sort of opportunity. I think and also those two personalities I think would shine in TGL.
Oh, dude, Jordan on TGL.
It'd be so funny.
The hot mic would be insane.
They would need to hold the bleep button ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets active.
He does.
Well, it was such a fun
What a
first
blast.
season.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next season.
Me neither.
It's
Do we
so
know
fun.
when next season is? Kind of same time next year, or are they doing another season later in the season?
No, I think it's
No,
just
it's
same
probably
time
yearly.
next season.
That would make
I
sense.
think we're just holding off. So we got to wait a while.
Massive success, though.
Massive success. Could not agree more. Let's move to LIV, which we were talking about this before we started even scripting this episode. We were like, did LIV play?
We weren't sure because it's not publicized unless you actually follow. Like, I haven't seen any ads for it in my like Instagram feed or anything, and I feel like it's targeted towards the younger generation of golfers. 100%. I mean, there's a party hole. Like there is quite literally a party hole where there's live music, people chuck their drinks. It's like the stadium at Scottsdale.
Yes.
On one hole every week.
Right.
So, they target it towards the younger generation of golfers, and the viewership numbers on Fox have been terrible.
Oh, well, hold on to that.
We are going to get to that. We're going to get numbers on that. But people just aren't tuning in.
No.
I don't think the product is as good. We've been really treated with solid PGA Tour events this year, and I think TGL has kind of got into that second. If someone's looking for a second brand of golf to watch, I think people in the last couple of years were like, okay, I'll try LIV. But now that TGL is here or was here and it was such a success, I feel like LIV kind of got bumped down to third place.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see now that TGL's done if anything changes. But it was LIV Golf Singapore, same weekend as the Players as well, so they had to compete.
That's the other thing.
That's ridiculous.
There's got to be some reason that they're doing that, unless they're just that dumb in scheduling. I don't understand why you compete with these big events. Do a LIV event like right before the Masters to get people ready, because they're going to see Bryson, Brooks, Patrick Reed, all these guys who are eligible for the Masters play in the Masters. Why not promote the heck out of that?
Right.
And get people watching and cheering for those guys.
They're also going to be seeing one Joaquin Niemann.
Oh, yeah.
Who won LIV Golf Singapore. It was his second victory on LIV of 2025. He shot 17 under, winning by 5 over Brooks Koepka, who took solo second at 12 under. So good to see him back in contention just in general. Niemann won LIV Golf Adelaide back in mid-February by 3. So just a little perspective on he's dominated in his 2 wins. But his team did not win. Fireballs GC won at 22 under over Legion 8, who shot 19 under. So it was a competitive week, it sounds like, but we just didn't watch it.
No, I did not tune in. I didn't. Obviously, I was busy in South Carolina. I didn't have a ton of time to watch golf this past weekend, but there's just not really an incentive. It's not easy to watch. It's easier than it was on the CW last year, wherever the heck it was, YouTube maybe. I don't remember. But, the one thing I will say about Joaquin Niemann, I am rooting for him at the Masters. I want to see him do well. I really do. Because I think he's always been a likable guy. I don't think he is as obnoxious as some of the other LIV guys. So I'm rooting for him.
And on top of that, he's one of the few guys on LIV that kind of has understood and accepted that they aren't getting points towards the official world golf rankings.
And they're not he's not super still in a tizzy about it. Like he's kind of accepted it. Yeah.
Right. So I think it might have been 2 years ago now when LIV first started, but he played on the Australian tour just to get enough points to get invited to the Masters. And he's still, he grinds in these mini tours to get those points that he needs. So
I think it's really respectable.
I agree. Hillsman.
I'll say something that's not respectable.
What's not respectable is Phil Mickelson keeps running his mouth.
Yes.
Do you want to explain this?
I do. So, because this brings me great joy to laugh at. Torque GC, which is one of the...
That's Niemann's team.
Niemann's team tweets this, quote, Joaquin Niemann has got to be a top 5 player in the world right now. Currently sits at the top of the leaderboard in Singapore for his second win of the season and 4th in LIV Golf League. Phil responded to, okay, first off, I'm just going to say that's an absurd take. Joaquin Niemann is not a top 5 player in the world. That's just not true.
It's just not true.
Scheffler, McIlroy,
Schauffele.
Schauffele.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau, I think, is still in that conversation, even though he's not there.
Right.
And then literally anybody else on the PGA Tour. Maybe not everybody. I mean, I don't think Kevin Kisner maybe, but like you think of, I would put Oberg over Neiman, 100%.
Yeah, I probably would as well.
He is not top 5. He's very good. I'm not saying Joaquin Neiman is a bad golfer. He is in the scope of pro golf. He is a good golfer. But Phil adds some fuel to the fire. He says, top 5, try number 1. Come on, man. Like really? Do you think he really believes that? There's no way.
I think he might. I think he might be. Dude, I don't know, because like if you're putting up Joaquin Neiman against, let's put Rory McIlroy, world number 2 out there right now, who's won twice as well, 2 Joaquin Neimans twice. Rory would kill that guy.
Yeah.
He would kill that guy.
And the quality of win, I don't think you can compare a LIV win with a PGA Tour win.
Not at all.
I don't even think you can compare a LIV win. Okay, maybe you can if it's like the Sony Open in Hawaii at the start of January. But even then, I think it's a stretch.
Yeah, I agree. Phil just trying to stirs things up.
I mean,
he's just trying to stir the pot.
I mean, he did.
He did.
He's always been a guy who kind of is not afraid to run his mouth, and honestly, I kind of respect that. But that take is a little much for me.
Yeah,
that's
a little too hot.
A
little too hot.
Yeah.
Our last news
Makes
on
for
LIV.
A lot of comedy, though.
A lot of
it's
comedy.
Really funny.
That's very true. Our last LIV news is breaking. They announced this literally like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, 30 minutes ago. Yeah.
LIV just announced something called the Duels Miami. So it's the Duels Miami. Sounds like they're going to try to do this a lot. But the idea is, and this is a quote from LIV, bringing the league's biggest pros and the best golf content creators together in a team competition. So there are, I think, 6 teams listed here. One of them is a pro on LIV. One of them is a YouTube golfer. So you've got Sergio Garcia playing with George Bryan of the Bryan Bros. George Bryan, a brother of one Wesley Bryan, who won on the PGA Tour a while ago now, 2016 or something. Bubba Watson playing with Luke Kwan, who got his start through Good Golf, another group on YouTube Golf. Joaquin Neiman playing with Rick Shields, the biggest British content creator in golf. Phil Mickelson playing with Grant Horvat, who also got his start in Good. We've got a lot more on Grant Horvat in this episode also. Dustin Johnson playing with one Wesley Bryan. You'd think that would be the team to win, but we don't know right now with Wesley Bryan.
Wesley Bryan might carry that team, to be honest.
Dude, Wesley Bryan's game is so bad right now. We're gonna get.
He's playing with Dustin Johnson. How much worse can it be?
DJ's game's in shambles.
Right.
Well, we'll see. And then the final team.
This is my favorite team, bar none.
Oh, I know.
It's Cam Smith and Fat Perez.
Cam Smith with a mullet and Fat. There's just so much personality in that group. This is something I might watch.
I was about to say that. I'm going to tune into this just to see how funny it is. But I think this is a direct response to how. I guess, successful the Creator Classic was at Sawgrass.
Yes, and that's in our gimmies.
It is in our gimmies. But this is a good idea from LIV. I like this a lot. I really do. I think this is something that will get people looking at LIV. Why not try it? You got all the money in the world. Go after it. I'll probably tune into this, see how it is.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of why they might be doing this, it could be because of viewership.
A little bit.
Viewership's been pretty bad. It's time for our comparison segment. PGA, LIV, viewership, money. We've got it all, starting with the viewership. The Players' Championship on Sunday on NBC tallied 3.6 million viewers, which is up from 3.5 for last year's final round. The peak audience for Sunday at 7 p.m. was 6.2 million. And that is up from 6 million flat from last year. The weekend average, just over 3 million. Andrew, the message is that PGA Tour golf is fine. People were worried about pace of play. Golf is fine.
Yeah. I think the pace of play argument kind of died down, especially... Okay, this is something that I think I said earlier in the year, and I think it still holds true, that people do not care nearly as much. And I think Rory said this as well.
He did.
You know where I'm going with this. People don't care about paces play as much when it's these big name events.
Right. You want as much players as you can get.
Who would want to watch less of TPC Sawgrass? I know I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I want to watch as much of that course as I can. So I think the pace of play argument is definitely more, I guess, applicable outside of this time of year when everything's just super exciting. But you're right. It is not as big of a deal. Viewership is always going to be fine. The game is growing, and that's a good thing.
If you look on the other side of the coin, LIV Golf Adelaide. So for PGA, keep in mind the 3.6 million because we're talking strictly Sunday average at this point. LIV Golf Adelaide, Sunday average, 34,000.
Yikes.
Yikes. That is real bad.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was just because it was in Australia. That can't help. Different timing.
Oh,
right?
I'm sorry. I meant to put LIV Golf Singapore.
Oh, okay.
This was Singapore.
Still, I think holds true. Other side of the world. However, people aren't interested in it.
No.
For the final round,
it's pretty bad.
Doesn't help that it's in Singapore. I think you'll see better viewership when events are maybe in England or in America, but it's not a good sign.
Right. Well, but the good news, the thing that LIV can fall back on is that they pay their golfers more money for winning, right?
They sure do.
They don't.
Oh, what?
They didn't. PGA, the players had a $25 million purse. LIV Singapore had a $20 million purse. We'll run down through some of the important positions just to give you a little understanding. Yeah. Rory won, the players. He got $4.5 million. Joaquin Niemann got $4 million flat for winning on LIV. JJ Spaun, solo second, got $2.725 million. Koepka, solo second on LIV, got $2.25 million. Colin Morikawa was T10. He got $656,250. That was a two-way tie. And a four-way tie on LIV Golf. Bryson DeChambeau got $371,000, almost half of what Morikawa got. And the way they do ties is, so if there's a four-way tie, they pool up all the money that someone would get in 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, and then divide that evenly among the four.
I feel like that's a fair way to do it.
I've always liked it, but the thing is that should give, that number is boosted. If we went solo 10 for PGA and solo 10 for LIV, it probably would have been exactly half of the amount on LIV. And then the last thing that we've got here is dead last on the PGA, which was Xander Schauffele. Not a good look for the kid.
Not great.
He was 72nd, and he got $50,250 for dead last. Dead last on LIV, which was 54th, so less players, got $50,000. $250 less.
Again, I have said this. I would like $50,000 for placing last at a golf tournament.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
But it's crazy.
It is. You know, I think with a signature event, because, you know, there's less LIV events, so I feel like they're trying to market everyone as a signature event, but you're still not paying as much.
Right.
The PGA has done an incredible job in matching those prize pools for the big events. They've done a really good job with that.
Dude, I don't know what LIV has anymore.
Especially if these contracts that, like with Brooks and Bryson, if they leave, I think they're dead in the water.
Right. Well, Bryson didn't resign.
No.
We don't know about Brooks. But LIV is praying that this merger happens ASAP,
right?
So that they don't just get beat.
But what's the point anymore?
That's
right.
We have
Scheffler's opinion on this.
We have Scheffler and we have Jay Monahan,
yeah,
the PGA Tour commissioner.
Yep,
commish, which is a great segue into our gimmies section.
Let's do it.
Quick news hits, gimmies. First thing, this is a big news hit. On Wednesday practice round at the Players, Rory McIlroy confronted a fan in the oddest way possible. On 18, in his practice round, Rory hit his first tee ball in the water. A fan shouts, "Just like 2011 at Augusta."
A little rude.
Rude.
Okay.
Rory tees up his second shot, hits it down the fairway, turns around, walks up to this person, says, "Can I see your phone?" He was on his phone. He goes, "Can I see your phone?" The kid froze. He's like, "Yeah." Rory grabs kid's phone and turns and walks down the 18th fairway. Just didn't give it back.
Okay.
I have no idea what happened.
I don't know.
It was University of Texas golfer Luke Potter who did this. He wrote an apology letter to Rory and Jay Monahan the day after. And Luke Potter's head coach, John Fields, addressed his actions, said that there are going to be consequences because, you probably shouldn't be heckling Rory McIlroy.
Right.
But
it's also a practice round. But even then, it's just, no. Why?
Yeah, no, don't do it. But anyway, Potter was ejected from the grounds. His phone was later returned. There are rumors that Rory took a selfie
Oh, I'd love to see
on the
that.
fan's phone. Well, I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
I saw the picture
Uh-huh.
on Twitter. I just don't know if it's real. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's
that'd
real.
be- I mean, I wouldn't. I feel like that's something that Rory would do.
Right.
I can see it being, true, but who really knows?
Yeah. I mean, we don't. And
It'd be funny.
that's what makes me so sad. Our next gimme, we talked a little bit about it. The Creator Classic was played the day before. Was it Wednesday or
I think it
Tuesday?
was Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or
I
Wednesday.
want to say it was Tuesday because they do practice rounds on Wednesday.
Right.
I think it was Tuesday.
We'll go with Tuesday. It was played on Tuesday at TBC Sawgrass, and it was a collection of some of the biggest content creators in golf. And they played. Do you know how many holes they played?
Not off the top of my head. No, I don't think it was a full 18. It was probably around like 12 or
Yeah,
something.
I think it was something like that.
But
too.
it was a success.
It was a success. And Grant Horvat won the Creator Classic at TPC Sawgrass.
Not really a shock.
No, he's got such a good golf swing,
he's really
dude.
good.
If you don't know what Grant Horvat's golf swing looks like,
Look it up.
go look it up.
Yeah.
So Grant Horvat,
That guy's also like smiling all the time too. I think
Oh
it's
my God.
awesome. He's like he's just beaming all the time. It's awesome.
and his teeth are so white. Like, have you know, dude? That's insane. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
it's fun.
Anyway, he sealed it with a birdie on 17. Such a cool way to win. Congrats to him. Really fun moment. We'll keep it actually. Well, I had a gimme interrupting our TPC Sawgrass moments here. Let's get one more. Colin Morikawa's caddy made an ace on 17 at TPC Sawgrass on Wednesday before the event. That's got to be the coolest moment you can have as a
dream,
caddy.
right? Like,
Exactly.
What? How do you top that? I don't know.
I mean, par 3 at the Masters.
Well, yeah, but maybe we'll see that. We've seen that happen with caddies before.
Yeah. Oh, dude, do you remember? I think it was like Jack Nicklaus's like great.
Yeah, a
nephew.
couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
That
I do
was
remember
so
that.
sick.
That was awesome.
I think that would take the cake.
Yeah.
If you're playing with, if you're
was
caddying,
it Finau who skipped one off the water?
Rom did.
Oh, it was Rom.
Finau had the moment where he made a hole in one, went running, and then his ankle went.
That's
boom.
right. Yeah, he hurt himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
right.
really bad.
Yeah.
But very cool moment for his caddy. Keegan Bradley made, as far as I know, the only hole in one during the actual event. It was on hole 13, not hole 17. It was on Sunday, but still a very cool moment. Let's take a trip, fast forward a week, go to the Valspar Championship. Adam Hadwin hit a very bad shot. I don't know which hole it was, but it was not a good shot because he was so mad. He was so mad to the point where he took his golf club and went right into the ground, and then a chemical reaction happened.
So funny.
He hit a sprinkler head, and the sprinkler head exploded like a fire hydrant.
It was hilarious.
I was the funniest thing.
He looked around. I'm like, he was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
That's karma, buddy.
dude. He looked around as if he was like innocent. He was like, "How did this happen?" it was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that was probably my favorite moment from the Valspar.
Same here. If we take a step aside from the two tournaments,
Yep.
everyone has heard, or mostly everyone. I shouldn't say everyone. Mostly everyone has heard the name Stephen A. Smith.
I'd be hard pressed to find someone who hasn't.
Exactly. He said this on one of his shows. Tiger Woods is just a recreational golfer at this point.
I mean, come on. Like, there's no reason to disrespect. We know he's hurt. We know his body is just banged up beyond belief. There's no need to say that, man. Like, come on.
And
It got clicks, and that's probably why he said it. That's what Stephen A. kind of does. He has some good takes every once in a blue moon, but he's good at getting clicks, good at getting attention. That's why ESPN pays him the big bucks.
Yeah.
But really,
I think it's also important to note that he said this after Tiger Woods announced that he wouldn't be playing in, I think, the Players.
Yeah.
Because he was ramping up his training.
and he tore his Achilles.
And he tore his Achilles.
Brutal.
Dude, it just hurts to say.
I know. We don't get to see him at Augusta.
No. And we very well might not see him ever again. That might be it. That could very well be it.
I hope not.
Me too. Well,
I mean, he's never going to go the John Daly route of driving a cart. He would never do that.
no. He wouldn't disrespect the great game of golf like that. He would. I refuse to believe he would ever do that. He probably would.
No, I actually don't think I think he said he doesn't want to.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him. He did drive a cart in like the PNC thing with Charlie Woods.
Who
but
cares?
Who cares? Exactly. I'll let him get away with that one.
Yeah.
At the Players,
Yes.
take a listen to this. Or actually, I skipped a ton of gimmies.
That's okay.
But we'll get back to them. At the Players, there was a cameraman 125 feet in the air to get angles of players teeing off on 16 and 17. 125 feet in the air. Hillsman, would you ever do that?
No. I hope they paid him handsomely because that is not my type of gig. That reminds me of the people who go up to like work on and maintenance cell towers.
Yes.
Like there's got to be something wrong up there. That's a little more extreme than a camera, but still, I would not ever do that. No.
They get paid so much money.
They do make a lot
and
of
they
money.
work like one day a year.
I know.
Like they go up and change that light bulb once.
Yeah.
And then they get like a ridiculous amount of money.
I mean, it's probably worth it to them. Not for me.
Yeah. I would agree with you there.
No thanks.
We're going to go back to a couple gimmies that I just totally skipped. Dave Pells.
Yes.
Died at the age of 86 last Sunday. We saw this for the first time today.
Yeah.
And as Indiana students, you have a pretty cool nugget about this, Andrew.
Yes. So he was a scholarship golf player at Indiana. He played in the Big Ten at the same time as one Jack Nicklaus. And
Ohio State.
Ohio State, that's right. The Ohio State University, as they say. He never beat him. He was 0-22 against Jack Nicklaus. So then he was a physics major. He went on to work for NASA for, I think, 11 or 12 years.
Yeah.
And then went into golf. And he tried his hand, I think, at designing equipment. And then, I don't know if you've read it. I'm going to guess you have. Dave Pells' Short Game Bible. Have you read it?
I have not.
You haven't read it.
I was a bad student of the game.
Well, that's okay. But very popular book. I think it was published, I want to say, in the mid or late 90s. Basically, Dave Pells, for anyone who does not know, was, I guess, hailed as a wizard of the short game.
Yeah.
He reinvented how people thought about it. He worked with his students, I think, have a combined 20 major wins. One of his students was Phil Mickelson, one of the best short game players of all time.
The short game king.
Dave Pells sold the patent for the Odyssey 2-ball putter to Odyssey. He was the guy who came up with that. He made a 3-ball putter. He popularized the putting mirror. That was his thing.
I did know that one.
For your shoulder alignment.
Yeah.
That was his thing.
Oh, dude, I was a mirror
He was brilliant.
merchant.
Oh, yeah. It's a good tool. It's brilliant. So big loss for the game of golf and the game of golf teaching. So
yeah,
very sad to hear that. And he was an IU guy. So
yeah,
rest in peace to him.
How about
Hopefully
that?
his family is keeping on. But Phil put out a statement today. He's just at a loss for words because they worked really closely together. Patrick Reed was also one of his students, helped. Dave Pells was a big reason, according to Reed, why he won the 2018 Masters.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. So, I
Wow.
mean, just a brilliant teacher and mind of the game.
Just big loss.
Yep.
Very, very sad loss. Always sad when we have to do a sad gimme on this show. But we try to get right back into the fun stuff.
Right.
And if you've ever listened to a podcast here at the Cut Line, you know that we talk about this one kid, Luke Clanton, quite a bit.
We are Luke Clanton fans.
We are Luke Clanton fans. He won his second collegiate event of the season, the Seminole Intercollegiate. He is a Seminole himself, Florida State. So played at his home course. That's that's fair. But check this out. So if you don't know, Luke Clanton, he's playing on the PGA Tour as well, and he's got his PGA Tour card for next year. He's still playing golf on the PGA Tour. He played 126 holes of competitive golf in 6 days. I would die.
Yeah, no,
Dude.
Nope.
Oh.
Walking as well? No thanks.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
But the big news really right now for Luke Clanton is
Right.
that he has not been invited to the Masters, which would be, where it's March Madness. There's been a lot of talk about snubs right now.
Yeah.
This might be the craziest
It
snub.
just might, yeah.
There are 5 amateurs in the field, including the U.S. Amateur Champ, the runner-up, the NCAA Champ, and then 2 exemptions for AMs who then turned pro and lost their spot. This is, of course, all reported by Dan Rappaport, one of the biggest names in golf reporting. But, man, that has got to stink if you're Luke Clanton.
Yeah, I mean, you work your butt off. He's going to get there next year if he isn't there this year. I mean, there's no doubt he's going to be competing for a long time. And could he win a green jacket? Probably. But 126 holes of competitive walking golf is insane in 6 days.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, we foreshadowed this a little bit, talking about LIV and PGA, Jay Monahan, Scotty Scheffler. Jay Monahan provided an update at the players' press conference before the tournament, provided an update on the ongoing negotiations with the PGA, PIF, and LIV, and he said a whole lot of nothing. I'm going to be honest.
That's about where it stands. It's a complete standstill.
Yeah. He said what we pretty much already know, in that PIF is going to help fund the PGA Tour if this agreement comes to fruition, and the PGA is considering taking aspects of LIV into their own model. We don't know what they're taking, but it is what it is. Scotty Scheffler was not as kind in his talks of LIV. What did he say, Andrew?
Let's hear it.
Do
we have the bite? Oh, we don't have the bite.
Well, we don't have the bite, but we have the quote.
Yeah, he said, quote, "If we want to figure out why the game of golf is not back together, go ask those guys." Wow. Go to wherever they're playing this week, because nobody knows off the top of their head, and figure out when the game is going to come back together. Wow.
Yikes.
That's it's quite the statement for Mr. Scheffler, but it's 100% true.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
I mean, he just didn't pull his punches.
No.
Like,
why would you at this point?
Right. Why would you? So, I loved it. I saw he said that.
I thought it was
like,
hilarious.
Go off, Scotty.
He's got the right to say that.
Yeah, he really does. We'll fire through these last couple of gimmies because we want to make sure we hit, made, or missed. 16-year-old phenom Miles Russell won the Sage Valley Junior Invitational. It's one of the most prestigious junior events in the United States. He shot 9 under. Some other notables are that Charlie Woods shot 11 over. He tied for 25th out of 36 boys. He shot rounds of 78, 73, 73, and 75, which as a 16-year-old sophomore is pretty good.
Yeah.
He can start talking to college coaches in June of this year, but he's right on track.
He's going to have legitimately every D1 program ringing his phone. Who wouldn't want to have the son of Tiger Woods in your program?
It's like Bronny James.
Seriously. That's actually a really good comparison, I think.
Yeah. I think, I don't want to say Charlie has more chance, or like, I don't know.
It's so tough to say because, there wasn't as much focus on, I feel like, young up-and-coming amateur golfers, and Tiger Woods didn't have that name. We didn't really know about him. We did, but, he didn't have that name attachment from his dad that Charlie does. So
right.
I think, regardless, he's going to have a really successful career. But
100%.
I'm excited to see what he does and where he goes.
Me too. Yeah, I'm so excited
It'll
to see
make
his
the rounds.
announcement. I'm so excited to see his announcement. The other notable, Kai Trump, who is Donald Trump's granddaughter. Is that right?
I think that's correct.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Shot 52 over, dead last out of 24 girls. So not the greatest showing for her. She's committed already to Miami.
Yes.
Going to be a Hurricane.
I think she also has a pretty sizable YouTube following as well.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It's insane. But people watch it, apparently.
There you go.
Little update on the current world rankings. The top 10. Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, who passed Xander Schauffele, who's in 3rd. Colin Morikawa in 4, which is another guy that I think is better than Ludwig Oberg. Than Joaquin Niemann.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Ludwig Oberg is 5. Hideki Matsuyama 6. Russell Henley is 7th. Shocker. Sure. Wyndham Clark is 8. Tommy Fleetwood is 9. And Justin Thomas is 10. The reason we bring you these updates... Why did I sound like an airplane pilot?
I thought it was great, yeah.
Thank you. Scotty Scheffler has now spent 97 consecutive weeks at the world number 1. Longest continued streak by anyone not named Tiger Woods.
I mean, if there's somebody who's going to do that, it's Scheffler, but nobody will ever catch the Woods streak. It's just not going to happen.
I couldn't find the number, but it's because the number's too big to go onto Google.
It makes the rounds every couple months or so. Like, Scotty Scheffler is that. I think we'll see it in 3 weeks when Scheffler has spent 100 consecutive weeks.
I like it.
We'll see it again. We'll see the Woods comparison pop up and how he has to hold that spot for another 13 years straight or something crazy to match Woods. It's just insane. But Scheffler is doing something special right now.
Another big streak right now. Xander Schauffele has made 60 consecutive cuts. He did get dead last at the Players, but he made the cut. This is the most since Tiger Woods, who made 142 consecutive cuts from 1998 to 2005. I don't know if you're catching that one either.
No, I don't think anybody else is ever getting that.
It's so far.
Yeah.
Very last gimme. Tommy Fleetwood has a career earnings of $25 million on the PGA Tour. However, he has never won a tournament, which is interesting because you chose him
to
win the Players.
All right, like, I thought it was going to be his week. He didn't play badly.
He didn't.
He got pretty good.
T14.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
not
good.
bad.
Made himself some money. Didn't make me anything. We don't put any money on this, but
Points.
I lost a lot of points this week, and we're going to get to that right now. Great segue to my awful pick from 2 weeks ago. Not as bad as my JT take from.
Oh, that was egregious.
But it was really funny. It's time for Made or Missed.
It is time for Made or Missed. Quick update on the points.
Oh,
I'm at 59. Hillsman's at 48.
I'm cooked. I'm cooked. Like, you have to miss every single one.
I got 6 right last week. You got 4, and then I got 3 points for guessing Rory to win.
I need to get somebody right and have like a crazy week to even have a chance to come back before the year ends.
We've got some good ones for this week.
Oh,
Hillsman,
Lord.
we go to you first. Joel Damon.
Nope. I don't think so. Not this
Missed?
week. Yep. Do it. Do it. You know you want to do it.
He makes it.
Yeah,
He makes
there
it.
we go.
He makes it.
That's what we like to
He
see.
makes
I
it.
love Joel Damon. I really do. He's hilarious.
He is hilarious.
Jason Day is the next one.
Jason
this,
Day.
This is a tough one, Graham. What you got? He withdrew from the Players, so maybe there was some sort of injury that he had to recover from, but caught it early and withdrew. So what's your take?
It's, dude, the withdrawing from the Players hurts because he's played some really good golf this year.
Yep.
He's rested. I'm going to say he makes it.
I'm going to go with you there. I think he knows how to he's a veteran. He knows how important these sorts of Texas tournaments in the weeks leading up to Augusta are important to perform well at the Masters. So I think he'll make it.
Harris English for you. Excuse me. I got you coughing on screen.
Harris English has won this year.
Yes.
And I think he's going to make the cut.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
I'm a Harris English believer.
I like it.
I really am.
I'm going the same direction. I'm
All
saying
right.
he makes it. However,
Mr. Sprinkler Boy.
I'm saying Adam Hadwin misses.
I'm going with you there.
Okay.
He's not playing well enough.
No. You said it so fast I didn't have time to switch the camera.
You'll get over it.
Yeah. Pardon any poor camera workings today.
Yeah,
it's first time.
That's right.
We're getting used to it.
Yep.
Sung J.M.
I feel like he hasn't made, off the top of my head, he hasn't made a big splash in 2025.
Yep.
I'm going to say he makes it this week. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't think he's been in contention for many wins this year, if at all.
Yeah.
But he's made cuts. I think he's playing good golf. He is a good golfer. So I'll say he makes it this week.
I'm also going to say he makes it. I'm going to say Siwoo Kim misses it, however.
I got to go with you there.
You going with me there?
Yep.
All right, then you're back on the chopping block with Francesco Molinari.
Everyone's favorite Italian who has not had a very good 2025. But, I mean, the game is there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say he misses this week.
Yeah, I'm going with you.
You can't. He's got to prove you wrong otherwise, I think.
This one is so tough. JJ Spawn.
Why did you put him on here? Like...
Because I love carnage. I want to see carnage.
I know, but Graham over here just wants to see the world burn. And I'm going to say JJ Spawn misses the cut this week. Because I also like to see chaos. It's probably not going to happen. But, I don't know if... Because Spawn, it's a 3-hole sample, but he did not look good in that playoff.
Oh, he looked terrible.
He had such a good early first 3 days, and I think McIlroy just owned him on Sunday and Monday.
He did.
Hard to come back from that, but you've got the confidence. It could really go either way. I think he'll be someone who's just on the bubble. I'll probably be wrong. He'll probably win this week, but whatever. I'm gonna go with missed.
You're making me want to pick him for my my winner.
You really don't need to do that, do you?
I'm gonna say that he makes it.
Okay,
I'm gonna look to be that guy.
All
I'm
right.
also gonna say that Sahith Theegala makes it.
Oh yeah, he's playing real well. I'm gonna go with you.
All right.
Yep.
Last but not least, Danny Willett.
Everyone's favorite Masters champion.
I
Maybe not everyone's favorite, but he is a Masters. Okay. Then I'll let you go first because you seem to be so passionate about Mr. Danny. Okay.
Miss.
All right.
No, for no personal reasons. It's not personal.
Yeah, that's a lie. You were a Spieth guy.
Still am.
Still am.
Still, I love my guy Jordy.
He's a Spieth truther.
Yep.
I'm going to go with missed as well.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one.
You're a real one.
Yep.
I love it. All right, Hillsman, pick your winner for this week. Or do you want me to go first?
I want you to go first because I want you to pick somebody silly so I can pick somebody who's actually going to win. unlike last week when I picked someone silly and then you picked the actual winner, I'm not picking Tommy Fleetwood again. He needs to win before I pick him. But who do you got?
Here's my silly pick.
Okay, I'm listening.
I'm gonna take Scotty Scheffler from you. Okay, I won't do that.
No. Go ahead. He'll win at Valero and you'll be wrong.
Dude, if he does, I'd cry. Because you're gonna get first pick next week.
Of course I'm gonna guess Scheffler next week.
Oh, dude, this could come back to bite me.
And probably will. I'm gonna take Wyndham Clark this week. Dude. You wanted him. I think that's a good pick.
Dude, that was my second pick.
Oh well. He's mine now.
Oh, dude, this could come back to bite me so bad.
It really could.
And I also fricked up my eyelash. Ugh.
I think both of these guys really have an equal shot to win this week.
I do.
Scheffler still looking for that first win in this year. It's got to come at some point, right?
It does. Dude, it's gotta. I mean, it's been far too long. He's been like top 20, I think, every event pretty much.
He's been consistent.
But
winning is hard, man. Winning's hard.
Winning is hard. That is going to do it for this week's episode of The Cut Line. So much to get through.
Yep.
Thank you all so much if you stuck with us the entire time. For those YouTubers that are joining us, welcome to the party. We have a good time here at The Cut Line. And for all those on Spotify, you can finally see our faces made for radio.
Yes. Oh, God. Can't wait. Should be fun the rest of the year. We got another one next week, and then the big one the week after, the Masters preview. We'll have a couple of guests on, and we'll be talking some Augusta National Golf Club. I can't wait.
Can't wait either. It's going to be fun. Until next week, thank you all so much for joining us here on The Cut Line. I'm Graham Nash.
I'm Andrew Hilsman, and I'm about to go shoot 9 over at Cascades in Bloomington. Let's do it.
We're all hoping the best for you, Hilsman.
I'll let you know how it goes.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.